Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to Starting Out or Starting Over. I am Kathryn Lake Hogan of Looking for Ancestors, and this is our live Google Hangout on air. And I'm going to tell you right now, this technology stuff is really not my forte. So things might be a little awkward on the technology side. I'm a genealogist. I'm not a computer science person, a technology person, a social media person. So sometimes these things present some challenges to me. However, we're going to go for this anyway, and we hope that you will find it entertaining and informational as we head into 2017 and as we plan to get our family history back on track. Now, I have with me three panelists for today. I'm just going to go down the list, and I'm going to start on my left, and that person is Christine. So, Chris, you want to jump in and introduce yourself?
Sure. Thanks for having us, and thanks for doing this. I'm Chris Woodcock, and I'm a genealogist, and while I specialize in the Scottish records, my husband's family do have Canadian ancestry, so I'm looking forward to everything we can do here.
Great. I'm glad you're here, Chris. And then next on the panel to Chris is Ellen. So Ellen, you want to jump in and say hello and introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Ellen Thompson Jennings. I'm the creator of the Family History Hound and owner of Shop the Hound. And that's my husband.
Hi. And then next to Ellen, we have Kelly. And Kelly, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thank you, Kathryn. My name is Kelly. I am in Edmonton, Alberta. I am a hobby genealogist. I tend to write and tweet more than I do speaking engagements. On Twitter, I associate with GenChat, and I am probably better known as Sir Leprechaun Rabbit.
Great, thank you. Yes, Sir Leprechaun Rabbit. So here's the person behind Sir Leprechaun Rabbit. Yay, right? Because sometimes we want to know these things. So Chris is in Ontario, same province as I am. Ellen and Kelly are in Alberta, so we have a Western presence here. We were hoping to have one of our Nova Scotian genealogists with us today, but that didn't happen. So we'll see what happens as we go along in the future in 2017. We're hoping to do these Google Hangouts once a month. I'm hoping also that my skills in handling the Google Hangouts will get better over time. And we hope to have more Canadian genealogists from across the country join us as panelists. Also, I'm opening up an invitation to you if you're interested. If you want to be a panelist on one of the Google Hangouts, you can let me know. We do have a brand new, and I do mean brand new as of about 20 minutes ago, Facebook group called Starting Out and Starting Over. If you want to look for that on Facebook, you can go and ask your questions there. I do apologize. I don't know how to get live questions during the live broadcast right now. Some of the Google Hangout toolbox apps are not working on my computer for whatever reason. So I can get a chat box up, but that's only a chat between the panelists. It's not a chat to the audience members. So I apologize about that. Again, something that I'm going to be working on for 2017 is getting better abled, more knowledge about all this technology. So we'll see what happens. Okay, I see Melissa. And okay, all these people that are clicking me, I'm going to add you in because I do have Facebook running in the background. And I'm just going to do that right now. Okay, Marie, you're in. Melissa, you're in. Yay. Excellent. So you can go ahead and ask questions on the Facebook group, and I will be checking that throughout the presentation, our Hangout today, so I can answer your questions. So I do have questions here to get us on track about what we're going to be doing in 2017 and what we've done, a little bit of what we've done in 2016. And how did I get to this place? So my question to the panelists, and also to you out there, if you want to comment in the Facebook group, is how successful was your family history research in 2016? And I'm just going to jump over here and let's see. Okay, so Ellen, you want to start? How successful was your family history research in 2016?
I was going to say that I got kind of hung up on one family or one guy, and that was at the expense of other families that I do research on. So this year I've decided to go back to a process I started when I first did genealogy, and that is family of the month. And so each month I work on one family, then at the end of the month I decide whether or not there's research that I want to continue with, or have I gotten bored, and then I'll move to another family for a different month. So I'm going to do that this year, because I just always am looking at the same, and it's not a good idea, I don't think.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Ellen. Oh, it looks like Pamela is trying to join in. Hi, Pam. I don't know if we can get you video. We can hear you, but we can't see you yet.
Okay, it's turned on.
On my end, hold on, let me see here if I can get to camera. Nope, that's not what I want. Control room. It's showing that your camera's turned off, Pam.
Okay, I clicked on allow.
Okay, now it's showing that it's on, but you're not showing up. That's odd.
Well, you have a very lovely blue profile.
I want to take some markers and just draw some hair and a smiley face on it. Okay, well, we'll see what happens. So
I don't know.
Well, at least we can hear you.
That's good.
So like I said, technology sometimes really throws us a curve. So we're just going to roll with it, Pam.
There she is.
There she is. Yay! Now we can see you.
I'm reminded of the Canadian Olympics in Vancouver when the Olympic torch one
Yes,
branch
yes.
didn't light up, and at the close of the Olympics they made fun of it.
Yes, they did. That
The
was
technicians were clowns, if you recall.
too funny.
We don't have any technicians, so yeah.
Too funny.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay. So joining us, yay! We do have an East Coast presence with Pamela Weil. And Pam, you just want to take a second here and introduce yourself?
Okay, I'm the president of the Genealogical Association of Nova Scotia, more by default than anything, which just means that I get to do a lot of work. There's no glory with that title. With the organization for about 9 years, and am very interested of genealogy in Canada, and would like to see it morph into something that's very Canadian American. As we all know, what's out there generally is American, and it doesn't quite fit. I mean, it's good. I won't complain, but it's not Canadian.
Right.
And
so
yeah.
Okay.
So that's me.
Yay! I'm so glad you're here. I really am. I am so glad to see all of you. Like Chris and I are like super ecstatic that you have joined us today, and that we have a panel of Canadian genealogists. Like
so excited!
Yay us! So we were just starting out with talking about what has worked, how successful was your family history in 2016. And Ellen was just commenting that she took an approach where she was doing a family of the month in her family history. So she would focus on one family in her family tree, and she would work on them for that month, and then she would switch to another family during the next month. And she felt that that was working successfully for her, and she's going to continue doing that in 2017. So let's jump over to Chris. I'm going to jump over to you, and I'm going to add a couple more people into the Facebook group. They've got some people asking. So Chris, what has worked for you for 2017 or for 2016? We're not 2017 yet.
So I really, when I looked back, because I kind of thought about it when you posted the questions, I honestly got very little of my own research done. And so that's something that I definitely want to have changed for 2017.
Okay. I understand where you're coming from on that. Yeah. Kelly, what about you? What worked or didn't work for you in 2016 on your own family history?
Like Chris, I didn't get anywhere with my own this year. My stepson wanted to know about his paternal line being Norwegian, so I did that for a bit, and then I got caught up in social media and writing. I am before I got into genealogy, I was into gravestones and how to read them and so on, thanks to my grandma rabbit. So I started writing about that and getting those published. But the only bits and pieces of genealogy I did was collect obits of my mum and my uncle who passed away earlier this year. Aside from that, no, it's both social media in general.
Okay, great. So hopefully we can do a little bit more in 2017. Pam, what about you? How successful was your family history research in 2016?
Yep.
Oh. Are you there, Pam?
So what did you say?
How successful was your family history research in 2016?
Oh, I have a lot of time from, and I've decided, well, I need to complete a family or a genealogy in order to apply for for the Genealogical Institute of Maritimes. And I've been dabbling with it, but I haven't really done a whole lot. And I find it difficult too if I'm not working on for a specific purpose. I get caught up and I feel guilty because I'm letting another family go. I try to do one every month as well.
Okay.
So that I can advance everything at least once a year, you know.
Right. Okay. I'm just gonna read here. Marie has a comment on the Facebook group, and she's wrote that 2016 was a disaster for her. Not only did she start a new job, left her with less energy, understand that, and less time for genealogy. She started to do the do-over. So Thomas McKinty has his genealogy do-over, and he's been doing that so this is his third year coming up in 2017. So Marie says she started doing that, and she started in 2015, and it turned into a do-over in 2016. And she feels like she hasn't done anything. So starting over, okay, and jump from one line to the other all year. Gotcha. Okay. So Marie says that she feels she needs to focus and start finishing things instead of starting them. I understand. Also, Anna, hi Anna. Anna commented here that she met her photo preservation goals. Oh my gosh, Anna. That is fabulous. I so wish I could be there. And she's done some education goals, but not her research goals. Okay. Further, she says she was all over the place with her research and accomplished very little. In 2017, she plans to stick with one set of second great-grandparents and their lines in preparation for a family reunion in August in Quebec. and she wants to start over on those lines. Oh, terrific. So you have having that goal
she's all
will
set.
really spur you on, Anna, I'm sure, to get focused on what you really want to do. As for me, 2016, I dabbled. I'm on the clock for BCG certification, and whether I meet that deadline in May or not remains to be seen. I keep floundering back and forth about whether or not I really want to go through with the certification. So in preparation to submit a portfolio, I've worked on one particular line of the family, and that has mainly been my focus. And it's actually a collateral line. However, in doing that, I've realized how terrible the rest of my lines are. And when I look at my family history software program, I can see it's a mess. It is an absolute mess because I've added 2 or 3 GEDCOMs to it, and I have many duplicates of the same person, which would require me to go back in and merge them all manually. Can you imagine doing that for 3 hours? Merging? No, thank you. So
when your grandfather has gone from 2 to 15 wives, yes.
Yeah, and so you're trying to merge all that information because, one profile will have 3 censuses attached to it, and the other profile for the same person will have a separate census, like a different. You're trying to merge all this together, and it turns out it's a mishmash, and it doesn't look pretty. I find I'm spending too much time making a lot of corrections. Whereas I think for me, if I were just to start a brand new family history file in whatever program I'm going to use, and first of all, learn the family history program, the ins and outs of it, how to use all the features, like really learn how to use the stupid thing, okay? Because I haven't done that. And then actually take all the years of knowledge that I've acquired, take the education that I've acquired through the National Institute for Genealogical Studies, the methodology I learned, how to source things properly, and actually start from number 1, that number 1 position in the pedigree chart, and start a brand new family history file. And so that's what I'm planning on January 1st, is to start a brand new file. I haven't really figured out which family history software program I'm going to use, which leads me to my next question for our panelists and also for our viewers. What family history software program do you use, or what do you use to keep track of your family history? And so let's see. Let's start with Pam this time. Pam, do you use a family history?
I use Legacy Family Tree.
Okay.
And I first downloaded the free version and worked with it for 2 or 3 months, and then I bought the deluxe expensive. It's $30-odd if you're downloading it, and I haven't really had a lot of time to work on it, but it seems to be a really good program, and we are starting a legacy user group in the Genealogy Society. So I hope to make some headway with that.
Great.
So I thought about starting a brand new file and actually did that, but haven't gotten back to it. So.
Okay. Chris, what about you? What do you use?
So I just switched. I was using Family Tree Maker, and I was using 05 because all of the other stuff had too many bells and whistles that when I wanted information, I wanted it fast. I didn't want all that frilly stuff. But when I upgraded my computer to 10, it kept corrupting.
Oh.
So I was just kind of going on with that anyway until a really good friend of mine had to get a new computer, and when she went to merge her from Family Tree Maker 05 onto the new computer, there was nothing there. It was completely corrupt.
Oh,
I
know.
Yeah, so she got forced to do a do-over. So when she said that, we both found Roots Magic and started the free trial on that.
Okay.
And I enjoyed it so much. They had a huge sale on like 2 days before Christmas that I bought it for everybody for Christmas.
Oh, cool.
So I've been kind of working and playing with that, and I like kind of some of the features. It'll find documents for me on Find My Past. It'll find matches through My Heritage. So and I'm, you know, eventually it'll come up with Ancestry as well. So I'm really enjoying it so far.
Okay, that's great. Super. Ellen, what are you using?
Initially, I started out using Path, and then when that was no longer supported, then I went to Legacy, Family Tree Maker as well. So anyways, then I finally decided that Family Tree Maker was going to be the be-all and end-all. Got that all technology, getting it all mishmashed together. Right. And then now I'm going to, my plan is to put it on Legacy and on Roots Magic, and then try, because I want to find out what about the different reports that they have on the two different programs.
Okay.
Better.
So. I know. Kelly,
I want it all. I want it all.
You want it all. Don't we all want it all? Kelly, what are you using?
Believe it or not, I'm still with paper. Word.
Okay.
Word. I don't know which one. It's whatever's on my wife's computer. I inherited notes that were unsighted that were written in 1927.
Oh, wow.
And when I got them, Kind Soul had mass produced them with a Gestetner, the funky Xerox machine that you had to crank by hand. And it was in a wine-colored duotang about an inch tall. And the youngest member of my grandparents' family was my mum. But there were 3 more babies after mum, so my great aunt had given me the paper, and she said, "Here, you fix it up." That was 1982.
Okay.
I did not have internet until about 10 years ago. I got Family Tree Maker for a birthday present a few years back. Like the comment I made, my grandfather was married twice, and by 3 months in, he was married 15 times, and all his wives' names were Grace. I spent more time pruning the tree in that program than before, so I went back to my paper notes, and 21 binders later, about 14,000 relatives. I've gone back to my founding mom's paternal side, founding immigrant ancestors that came here from England in 1833. Only problem is they went through New York City.
Oh, okay.
And they had a letter from Mr. Buchanan, who was the British consul. So they bypassed customs and went straight to York. I knew they left because they got here, but I still don't know the name of the boat. So that's my biggest downfall. But no, the computer programs, I can get into them. I can put the information in, and then when I go, okay, what's the report look like? Nothing comes out.
Right.
So at least in Word, I can take a screen print and send off. I says, this is what I've got, and to the right hand side is nothing but reference numbers of all my citations. And they'll go, what are all those numbers? And I'll send them the information. They'll go, oh, wow.
Right.
So it's all there on a page. And then the page is just, and everyone's numbered and the generations are indented. The only thing that comes into havoc is when I try to update what I've got on the printer. I go and I say, okay, print, and the printer decides to have an aneurysm because it doesn't want to print 235 pages of family branch number 2, and there's like 12 more to print.
Right.
My wife says, you need ink. I get her ink. I get about four colors of each, and about 5 boxes of paper. And when I'm done, I think she's lucky she's got any ink left.
I believe it.
But no, I love the software, but it seems that depending on what program I use, my laptop is either too old or my wife's desktop is too new.
Okay.
And nothing works.
Okay. So that's interesting that you say that, Kelly. I started out, well, it was version 3 of Legacy when I started, and then I think they're coming out with version 9. So that'll tell you how long ago I started with Legacy, and I absolutely adored it. Absolutely adored it. And even to the point where I became an affiliate. So I have to tell you that legally, I am a Legacy affiliate. However, let me think, about 6 years now, my husband decided that we're all going to get Macs in the house. And unfortunately, Legacy does not have a Mac version of their software program. And I have been boo-hoo-hoo-hooing to Jeff ever since. Every time I see him, I keep saying to him, Jeff, So unfortunately, I have not yet found a software program, a family history software program that I like as much as I like Legacy for Mac. So I've bounced around, which has led, of course, to the problem that I am in now because I have things scattered everywhere. So I have Family Tree Maker, which I was using kind of as like placeholders because it would it used to link to Ancestry. Well, how convenient was that? But now that doesn't work anymore. So scrap that. I tried to use Mac Family Tree? And I wasn't too crazy about it. Then I also tried to use Herodis, which is a French company, and it's not bad. There's some pros and cons to it. I don't like the way they do the locations on the family individual files, and I really have to play around with how they do the source formatting. I don't like the way they do the source formatting. I do like that right on the individual's profile, you can put their occupation. You can see that right straight away. And one of the interesting things on Herodis that they'll ask for when you're inputting a document or an event is who are the witnesses, and ask you. Yeah, I thought that was really cool because then you could, is that person already in your family file? Are they a relative? So it kind of spurs you on to do a little bit more with your family history and following through. I've also used OneNote, Microsoft OneNote, because it's like little notebooks and you can do, chapters and files and pages on individual people. And much in the same way that Kelly has been using Word, I've been using that a little bit as well for particular little projects that I'm working on, individual projects on certain families in my family tree, and I've been doing it that way. It may surprise, well, maybe it won't surprise you. A number of years ago, when I was at one of the institutes and I was taking a class of Dr. Thomas W. Jones, Tom's class, someone in the class asked him, what do you use? What family history software program do you use, Tom? And he said, pardon? And I said, like Legacy. And he says, oh, I don't use one of those. And of course the class were like, what? What do you use? What do you use? He says, I use Microsoft Word. Mm-hmm. He does the same thing you do, Kelly, and that he does, one file per person, and he manually types out everything. And he says that works for him. Yeah. So
you can put hot links in some of the more
exactly. So that's what he does.
And you can call them up. It's almost like using the other one, the database one, Excel.
Right.
And my wife took one of my smaller ones and put it in Excel, and it looked really nice. And you click the buttons and the tabs. And then when you try to add to it, I made a mess. I didn't have the heart to tell her, but I have it and I just put it aside. But I like my Word.
Okay. All right, I'm just popping over here onto the Facebook group because I posted a question, and Anna has said that she has Family Tree Maker, which she just got last year, but hasn't used it much. She's curious about Legacy because people who use it seem to love it so much, but she also has a Mac. Yes, unfortunately, Anna, there's no Legacy for Mac. even though I keep telling them, please, please. But apparently it's, even my husband says this, and he's into information technologies. It's very different. The software programs are very different. And Anna says that she also keeps track of research in Evernote. Yes, and that's popular. And I used to use Evernote until they switched it, and then it got really, really techy for Mac, and then they wanted you to pay money for it. And I'm sorry, right now I'm all about the free.
Like you, Kathryn, I used Evernote. I still have it. It's mostly when I'm out and about and I come across something I either want to write or comment or check against my genealogy. I'll make like running notes, like bullet, not like this, almost like bullet journalism. But yeah, I do it in Evernote. I'm slowly taking it out, and I haven't figured out Trello yet. So OneNote is what I've been using as I transfer everything over.
Okay.
But yeah, that's one way to do it.
Great. Oh, and Jen. Hey, Jen. Jennifer Alford has joined our group. Fantastic. Hi, Jen. And Jen is saying here that she uses Roots Magic and Evernote. And I see someone else's type. It's me. I can see the little dots move. Someone's typing a comment. So someone else is typing a comment in our Facebook group. So I'm gonna pop back in a second and read their comment. So basically, my point in asking that question about which family history software program you're using, or programs plural, or other things that you're using, is it working for you? That's the bottom question. As we move into 2017, is what you've been currently using actually working for you? And this is something that I want to encourage you over the next couple of days, because today's the 29th. So we've got the rest of today, all day tomorrow, all day Saturday. Take some time and evaluate your family history software. Do you really like it? Do you hate it? Are you like, like me, when you boot it up and you're thinking, oh, this is not working for me, there has to be a better way, this is the time to explore it. And what else can you use instead? And what my aim is for 2017 is finding a family history program that I can live with even if I don't love it. Because the fact of the matter is, my number one will always be Legacy. It was so easy to use. That's what I really liked about it. I think someone was asking the Facebook group what was so great about it. It was so intuitive. You could just load it up and right straight away, you just knew what to do. It was so easy. That, I think, was what was so appealing about it. It wasn't hard to use at all. So now I'm gonna revisit the Mac family tree for Mac, and I'm gonna delve a little bit further into Herodis tomorrow and Saturday, and by Sunday I'll have a decision. I'm gonna have to, right? I gotta get that first family file going on Sunday. So by Sunday I will have a decision. And you know what? I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna have to make that commitment to whatever method that I'm going to use so that I can really get some progress going on my family history in 2017. Okay, Marie says she uses Legacy and keeps track of everything in Evernote. Okay. Ashley has downloaded Herodis earlier this year because they had a sale. Yeah, they had a really good sale, didn't they, Ashley? Yes. And you're getting used to it, but I really like that you can sync the program between computer and iPad. Yes, and that's new this year with Herodis. If you're a Mac user, that's something else you might want to consider. Is Herodis allows you to sync to all of your iOS devices. So not just your laptop, but your phone, your iPad. So you can have your family history with you at all times, which really makes things makes things really easy. Okay, so now that we've discussed...
But before you do that, Melissa Barker also posted in there that she says she uses Legacy and puts her trees on Ancestry. I only put information in my tree online that I can prove and source.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I can't
Thanks for joining us, Melissa.
I can't see Melissa's comment. I'm glad you could, Chris. Thank you. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah. Legacy and Ancestry puts your information in her tree so that Yes. Okay. I do have, I have numerous trees on Ancestry, and I keep them all private as well. I mean, we know that they're not 100% private, probably about 95%. And I call those my junk trees, because those are where I go and post things, add people in, so I can play around with it. But I don't always, the person that I add into my ancestry tree may not get added into my family history software program. So I keep those separate. I understand where you're coming from on that one, Melissa. And does anybody use Wikitree?
No.
Curiosity. You tried.
I tried.
I use Wikitree. I like it. I like it. You have to learn the art of compromise. But what I do like about Wikitree, as opposed to the other public family trees out there, is the goal of Wikitree is to have one profile for each ancestor, just one, so not 500. So other people will collaborate on the profile with you, and they try to merge duplicates. And the goal is to have one really well-sourced, well-contributed profile for that ancestor. And if you want to see, if you go to Wikitree and you want to see an amazing profile to see what I'm talking about, is if you go to Wikitree and you look up Peter, P-I-E-T-E-R, the Dutch spelling, Quackenbush. And you'll see that Clary Quackenbush has just done a fabulous job on his profile. And you just see what the possibilities are for Wikitree. And it's another way that you can share the information that you've researched, you've collected, photos, everything. You can add that right to Wikitree. And because it's public and you set the profiles, you can set the privacy profiles on your ancestors, you can determine who can see what. So there is a little bit of control there as well. If you're merging a profile on Wikitree, though, you don't have as much control, because somebody else is also a profile manager, not just you. So they can change it back. But anyway, it's another option available to us in a way to share our information. And it's also a nice way if you have cousins, those distant cousins, and you want to work on your family tree. It's a nice way of doing that as well. Okay. All right, so let's move on to this question. It's going to be kind of a two-parter. And, do you ever wish you could start your family history over again? And or what goals, or maybe that is your goal for 2017, or what goals do you have for your family history research for 2017? And let's start with Chris, I guess.
So
Chris.
No, I don't want to start it over.
Okay.
But I do want to go back and clean it up.
Okay.
So that's my goal for 2017, is to go back into my own research and clean it up, make sure that all the sources are cited, all that stuff is in there, and just make sure that it all makes sense.
All right. Sounds good. Alan, what about you? Do you want to start over, or what's your goal for 2017?
Similar to Chris, I don't want to start over, but some of my early genealogy was maybe a little sketchy, so I'd like to go in and get my sources, learn how to do a really good source. I'm not sure that I know how to do that, and but clean that up. And then my other goal for 2017 is I started out making a spreadsheet for DNA matches, because I'm really into DNA. And okay. I wanted to have one place where I could collect it all in this year, and I want to tweak that spreadsheet and keep that up to date.
Okay. You're going to really enjoy the new app that's coming out, part of the Innovator Summit Showdown.
I can't
love that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Yeah. Kelly, what about you? Are you starting over? Are you continue on? What's your goal for 2017 with your family history?
If I were to start over, my ancestors would have to be in the room with me. There's no way to straighten out the mess I've got. in the late spring or early summer, I am going back to Rabbit Country, Ontario, to bury my mum. And
Okay.
my siblings and all my cousins, last I heard, all of them anyway, are all going to be at the old family church where we're going to bury with her mother.
Okay.
And they're all going to sit down. I've given them copies of the branch that we're all descended from, and they've been just, wow, didn't know this, and wow, didn't know that. And they've been trying to add in the fact that they're all married now and children and grandparents, so they've got a lot of information for me to play with when I get there. So that's the plan for me for 2017.
All right. Super. Pam, what about you? What are your plans for 2017 with
Well,
the family
I'm
history
going to-
research?
Can you hear me? I'm not sure.
We can hear you. Can't see you. The video's
okay.
feeds lag on you.
Yeah, really lag. Yeah. I'm going to work on the family that I need to complete for my Genealogical Institute, and at the same time learn how to use Legacy. It is a process. It's a great program, but if you don't spend time learning how to use it, then really it's not. And I am going to clean up my sources.
Okay.
I sourced mostly everything, but it's not consistent. So
Okay.
it's going to be a project.
All right. Super. For me, I'm biting the bullet, and I'm gonna start over. I'm not getting rid of the files that I already have. You can see the bookshelves behind me. You can just see in the corner here the color-coded binders. That's my research when I was doing things in binders and I printed things out. And you can see I still have them. So all of the files that I have, either the printed ones or the ones that I have on my computer, I'm not getting rid of them. I'm going to use them as a source, but I'm going to start over again. And that's going to be my goal for 2017. And I'm hopefully going to be able to follow my own program. That's the goal anyway. And I thought if I can do that, you know, by putting that program out there to all of you to follow along, however way you want to do it, you know, I can improve my own family history in the process. And, you know, maybe by the end of 2017, I could have 20 people in my family history that are really well researched and really well sourced, so that I would feel comfortable sharing that information with my cousins, knowing that what I'm giving to them is the real deal, that I haven't, you know, skimped on it. I've done the best to my ability. And I've actually treated myself like one of my own clients, because I know when I take a client on, I'm making sure I'm doing a research plan. I'm making sure I'm giving them a research report, but I don't do that for myself. Would I go to quite that extent? Probably not. I know to the extent of writing a research report per se, but you know, putting that information, say, up on Wikitree, and you know, making sure that all those sources are linked in properly, so that I could say to my cousins, hey, you know, if your kids, you know, have a family history project or you're interested about the family, you can go to Wikitree for free and you can see it. You can see the information there. So that's going to be my goal, and that's my reasoning behind doing the Starting Out and Starting Over program for 2017. And who knows, maybe carry that on into the future. We'll see how it goes. I'm not making a commitment beyond 2017. So I'm committing myself to 2017. See if I'm crazy by the end of it or not, and we'll take it from there. I see a couple of comments here in the Facebook group, so I'm just going to pop it over here. And I see that Melissa says she wants to find time to do my genealogy. Melissa, I'm with you. I understand that. And one of the things that I'm doing is I'm taking all of my notebooks and all of my things and I'm putting it right here. This is the bullet journal. And we're getting this prepped and ready to go for 2017. And in my bullet journal, I'm hoping to make time, in my weekly layouts that I'm putting in time in my bullet journal to plan out time for me to do my own family history. And I can't remember who it was, and I apologize because this is not from me. It was from another genealogist who said, imagine what you can accomplish in 15 minutes a day. If you just took 15 minutes a day to work on your own family history, how much would you get done? Could you enter a source, or a document into your family history in 15 to 30 minutes a day? But yeah, that's doable. You're not committing yourself to hours and hours on end, but you're actually making a little bit of progress. So that might be an approach that would work for you. Okay, I'm trying to get the comments here working. Chris, can you see the other comments in the group?
Nope, but I that was the one that I had marked and was going to mention if you hadn't.
Oh, there's Cheryl's. I see it. Okay. Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. Cheryl is a longtime Family Tree Maker user for PC and Mac. Okay, that's interesting. And she just purchased Legacy, so she's anxious to check it out. And she has private ancestry trees. Okay, so much along the same lines as everybody else, we kind of have different ways of doing things and multiple ways of keeping track of our family history. Okay, so what do you think? Okay, so how will you share how do you plan to share your family history with your family or distant cousins? And I ask this because what is your ultimate goal, I guess? What is your ultimate goal in doing family history research? And if you're wanting to share that information with family and distant cousins, how are you going about that? So let's jump in and let's start with Ellen.
But I was thinking I'd like to write a book, I think. I always said I was never going to do that, but do an ancestry book, but have like chapters on sort of key ancestors. And so I did a little writing program and worked on that. That's what I think I'd like to do. Another thing that somebody else did, like I wrote a blog called If My Ancestor Had an Instagram Account. And so
cool.
one of my friends said, that's how she's going to start sharing her genealogy is on Instagram. So she's going to post a picture of an ancestor and then do a write-up. Yeah,
cool.
That is so cool.
Wow,
yeah,
I never thought.
I got my blog called If My Ancestor Had an Instagram Account.
That is so cool, Ellen. I never thought to use Instagram in that way. I totally love that. That is really neat.
I do
That
too.
is really neat.
Stick around me. I have all the good ideas.
All right, maybe some of them will rub off on me. Okay, let's go to Calais. What is your ultimate family history research goal, and what do you want to do with all of it? How are you going to share it with your family?
Well, I actually met that goal earlier this year. It was in February when my uncle passed away, my mom's baby brother, baby of the family. All my younger cousins from all my uncles and aunts started asking, well, do you know about the family? And I went, yeah. And they wanted pieces of it, so I started sending them pieces. One cousin really got into it, and I connected her with Mike Quackenbush of Hamilton OGS, and she loves him to death. He is her mentor. She learns a lot from him. All my cousins are through in Facebook. Some of them are in Twitter, and this one cousin, she has found the family stories on my blog and has been sharing them with everyone. So every now and then I get, oh, do you know this story? and they tell it to me, and I ask for pictures for proof, and I've been taking it from there. So I've been very fortunate that that the family, there's more than one person I can pass my work off to pick up where I leave off.
Super. Yay. I'm excited hearing these things, that people are getting that information out there. Pam, what about you? What's your ultimate family history goal, and how are you sharing your information with your family if you are?
Well, I never feel like I'm ready. I never feel like a point where can. I've done little bits and pieces with just my siblings and by someone else. Then with them, ultimately, I would like to have it in printed as well as digital form. Likely, I will start sharing maybe chapters with my family, maybe once a year at Christmas time. What I have on a particular couple and their children, you know, including photos and whatnot, and then they can create a binder for themselves. There is another branch of the family that I would like to put together and do some sort of a book, a Shutterfly or something. It would likely be too expensive for me to purchase for everyone, but if I put it together, maybe they can purchase it themselves. Okay. So it's really just getting organized and spending time. So I'm making progress instead of spinning my wheels.
Yeah, I know the time factor. Everybody seems to have that as an obstacle. I understand. Chris, do you want to share with everybody what you did for your family just this past couple weeks?
So by the way, I found Ellen's blog and I was reading it, and I love the whole Instagram thing. Everybody has to go there after we finish chatting and read it. It is awesome.
Okay, so Chris, can you post afterwards? Post in our over Facebook group the link, and then everybody can have access to it.
Great idea. Okay, so I started out actually when I first did genealogy. I started out by doing a family history book because I didn't know that's not what you do to start. So I did a record of my grandfather's 21 children and all of their descendants. And I've done some blog posts, which are kind of interesting because I've had people find me that way. I did one on my grandfather's brother, and he left Scotland very young and nobody ever knew what happened to him. And so I was able to find his story. And through the blog post, have connected with a cousin who was his grandchild. So that was really cool. And then what I've taken lately, I'm all about, because I'm the keeper of the photos and the documents, I really believe that it's my responsibility to share those back with the family. So the past couple of weeks, the whole of November actually, I was on forever.com and created memory books. I started out by doing one for my uncle who was has just recently been diagnosed with dementia, and I put the pictures of his grandparents and his parents and all of his siblings and children and the story there. And I've done that for a couple of others. And then once you get started in that kind of stuff, you don't stop, right? So I have an uncle who recently lost his son and an aunt who 3 years ago lost her son. So I did books for them with their children in it to remember them. And then when we did big family road trips, we did them for about 10 or 11 years. And I mean big family road trips. We went out to Idaho and we were gone for weeks on end. And I kept journals for all of that. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this to my kids. So I took the journals and then added photographs of each holiday in, and that was their Christmas gift this year.
Cool. Yeah. I saw you had on Facebook just the other day one of your pages, and with you and your kids and your husband, and just wow. Wow. She had the photos on there and the stories, and that was just terrific. Yeah. That was terrific. My goal for ultimately is, of course, I want to get that information out there. I do want to put it on Wikitree because it's quick and easy to do that for me and allow other people in my family to, easily see it online and know that it's done correctly. I don't like having people join my ancestry family trees because, like I said, those are my junk trees, my experimental trees. So I don't want people to be replicating the errors that I have on there. My mom's side of the family, believe it or not, is really, really small. And there are 7 of us in Canada. The family goes back to Wales, and my grandfather was the one who immigrated to Canada in the 1920s. And so basically it's me, my brother, my cousin's 2 kids, and my 2 kids. And that's it for the George side of the family in Canada. So that's my focus for 2017, is to really focus on our ancestors. My mom, who's passed away, my kids don't know a whole lot about her. So I want to do the research on her side of the family, and then put together some sort of a book, hopefully by year's end. So kind of along the same lines as what you've done, Chris, is some sort of like a photo memory book, maybe a little bit more in depth in the writing. There's stories. I'm not 100% sure how that's all going to come together. I'm hoping by maybe October or November in 2017 that'll come together. But that's the goal, to get something out there that I can share with my kids, and then offer it to my cousin and his girls as well, because they don't know a whole lot about that side of the family. And that's my big goal for 2017. And then, the ultimate goal is, you want to get it out there somewhere that people can have access to it. So I do want to put it online, put the family history information online in a method that hopefully is going to be around for a while, and that the information is going to be correct. And for me, that's Wikitree. That works for me. I'm going to go back to the Facebook group here, because I saw some people. I've added a few more people during our time together, which is fantastic. And oh, come on, it's lagging. Sorry, I'm trying to refresh the page, and it's lagging here.
So I did post the link to Ellen's blog post.
Yay!
So it is now in that Facebook group for anybody who wants to read it.
Yeah, I just saw that. Thanks, Chris. So if you want to take a look at that.
I'll need to contact you, Ellen. I have an interesting story about the Empress of Ireland, but we'll chat about that later.
Anna posted she's not sure how she's going to share her research at the reunion this year. Budget is a big consideration right now,
yes.
But she does blog and share photos on Dropbox with some cousins. So that's great. I know when I first started out on my family history, like way back in 2002, I found out, and I'm talking a really short period of time, like a matter of 6 weeks, that there was a huge family reunion for the Rickman or the Reichman, depending on which line of the family you're from, the Rickman-Reichman family in Sault Ste. Marie. And so I quickly made arrangements to attend that. And the person who was organizing it had a very interesting approach in getting the information. And she had printed off binders of the information that she had. And then she asked people to go through the binders of information and correct things, add information, and then of course, where did you get that information from? And then she asked people to also leave their contact information so that she could follow up with them as well. And then she ultimately published a 3-volume set on the Rickman family, and it's okay. But it's a starting point, and it does provide names and dates and places for people in the family that I don't always have. So there was some definite value to that. But that might be something to consider, Anna, is having something like that where people can add their information if there's a time, in the family reunion that they could look at that. Sometimes old-fashioned analog methods, sometimes still have a good value to them. Good old paper and ink. Sometimes really works out well. I'm scrolling in here, just in the Facebook group. Okay, Jennifer has made a comment to Melissa's comment about the time to do family history. And Jennifer says she understands this past year she's had very little time for her own research. I have a lot of my list now, so she's hoping to refocus for 2017. So that's a great, Jen. I hope you have success with that. And I'm just looking here. I think we got everybody. I think I got all the comments up to date in the group. Okay. One last question, because can you believe it? We've already been doing this an hour and it hasn't crashed on us. So,
Yay.
panelists, we've done okay so far. And thank you,
You
Jen.
don't need
Jen,
a degree in rocket science.
Jen has just made my day. She posted in the Facebook group. I love this. Thank you, Jen. Thank you. Yes, being able to overcome the questions by having the Facebook group seems to have worked out okay so far. Maybe that's something we can continue with then in January. I don't have to worry about trying to link it up to Google Plus, because that's a technological challenge for me. Okay, so you know that for 2017, my goal is to do starting out and starting over program. And just what exactly is that? It's going to be a weekly program where I'm going to send you a calendar. So if you're on my mailing list for the starting over program, I'm going to be mailing you again my calendar. I made up a calendar for the whole entire year, and it's Canadianized. It's a Canadian calendar. It has the Canadian holidays on it, and it has the Canadian genealogy conferences that I know about on there. It has the Ontario Genealogical Society webinar reminders are on there. And then I'm also going to be offering a monthly webinar as well. And it's going to have the dates posted right on your calendar, right there. So you can look at the calendar and you can see what's happening with Canadian genealogy. And of course, the Great Canadian Genealogy Summit that's happening in Nova Scotia in October, that is right on the calendar as well. So you'll know what that is. So every week, I'm going to be sending some prompts out to you, if you're on the mailing list, on what to focus on. And you can follow along. If you want to do that person, great. If you don't, that's fine too. I think you'll find that the questions and the suggestions that I'm going to be sending out to the group will be helpful in helping you to focus on your family history, on the family or the individual that you're working on. And I'm hoping that the webinars that I'm going to be offering, and yes, I am putting a cost to them, to these webinars once a month. You'll get a discount if you're on my mailing list, and automatically you'll get a discount on that. So the webinar topics that I'm going to be talking about are definitely Canadian based, with records and information. And really, I'm hoping that they're going to help you really delve in heavy duty into those records that I'm going to be talking about, to find information on your ancestors and get that information into those profiles on your family history software program or your Word document, Kelly. whatever it is. So that is what is happening for 2017, and we'll see what happens. So, I don't know, any parting words before we wrap things up here? I think we lost Pam. So, okay, bye, Pam. Glad that you could join us. So, Ellen, any parting words as we exit out of 2016 and head into 2017 with regards to family history?
Just keep on trucking. That's all I know. I'm not sure. Just keep on doing what you're doing and try and do it better.
All right.
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay, super. Well, thanks, Ellen, for joining us today. I do appreciate it. And let's go, Kelly. What are your parting thoughts, words about as we exit 2016, head into 2017?
2016 was, or still is because it's not over yet,
Right.
extremely eye-opening and heart-wrenching. Politically, globally, personally, it. I wouldn't want to do it over again. That's for a do-over. I don't want to do over 2016. No. I couldn't do it again. 2017, I hope holds promise and a better understanding and compassion and empathy globally, what's happening overseas, what's happening here, what's happening in everywhere else, and that research-wise, that there's what I have a problem or an issue with, maybe you or Chris or Ellen has been there and share that information. So it's like a network. So it's not just, there's 5 of us. There's not just 5 families. Technically,
Right.
we're like one family, and we're just distant cousins, and try to get all in the same page and share that experience and bring people to understand that genealogy, it can involve, it doesn't have to be a lonely profession or a hobby. You can bring many people into it. I was lucky. I brought my children into it when they were still in single digits. They didn't know they were doing it, but they had fun just the same. They still have the memories. They still have the memories. I still have the piece of paper with their handprints on it that we traced in a crayon after we spent time in a cemetery, and it's still hung up by the bathroom door, and I labeled it "Dirty Little Hands." And they all said that if anything happens to me, they all want it. Well, there's only one paper, and there's 3 boys. I haven't figured out how I'm going to do that, but if you can find a way, you don't have to do it alone, and that's what I'm hoping 2017 and this little project of yours will do. It will be able to tell others, you're not by yourself. Somebody's been there. You just haven't found that person to show you how to do it yet. Just keep at it.
There we go. That's some great advice, Kelly. Thank you. Chris.
So I'm really excited. I don't have parting words necessarily, but I'm really excited that I'm not the only one on this who wants to clean up. And so I'm really looking forward to having each of you kind of coach me along and encourage me and make me accountable for, yes, I have done some cleanup and cited sources and made sure they're all, all in place. So I'm really motivated now to be able to do that. So thank you for starting this, Kathryn.
Thanks, Chris. Well, I gotta say thank first of all, our panelists for joining me in this adventure, because it was something that I wanted to do, and I've been thinking about it since probably August, wanting to redo my family history and doing some sort of a program like this that I was hoping could encourage other people to come along with me. And I thought, what if nobody likes it? But you know what? We've got 10 viewers. I can see here that we have 10 live viewers. And for me, that is fantastic. I'm excited that 10 other people, plus our panelists, want to come along on this journey with me to start out or start over with our family history. So I've got to say thank you, because it's really boosted my confidence, and I'm even more excited about wanting to make this work and to get this information out there and share it with you and make those connections, because I would like to meet you in person. So I'm going to be at Roots Tech in February. So if you happen to be going to Roots Tech, I hopefully am out of those thousands and thousands of people that are there, we can connect. Chris is going to be there. Ellen, are you going to be at Roots Tech?
Yeah.
Yes. Ellen's
all
at Roots
booked out.
Tech. Super. Jennifer, who's in our Facebook group, is going to be there as well. I know a number of you are going to be there. I guess the best way that you can find me will be, I'll be in the Media Hub. because I'm an ambassador. Chris is going to be in the exhibit hall. Is that right, Chris?
I am. I'm going to be over by the demo stage. I'll have a booth there, inviting you to join me in Scotland.
Super. And Ellen, are you having a booth there?
No, that's my one time I get to enjoy a conference.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. So yes, there and I'm really excited because there are going to be quite a few Canadians at Roots Tech this year. I know from Ontario. I know of at least 3-4 other Ontarian genealogists who are going to be there. And I know last year when I was there, there were some Albertans there as well, and I wasn't feeling well that day, so I didn't get to really connect with them. So I know a lot of people from Western Canada go to Roots Tech because it's not too bad of a drive to get to Utah. So I know they head down there. So I'm hoping to make some more contacts that way as well. So I'm just looking any last comments here in the Facebook group. I'm not, let me see, I better refresh this before we say goodbye. Okay, so as I'm refreshing this, there we go. Christine and everyone, you are not alone. Thank you, Melissa. I'm glad you're with us, Melissa. This is terrific. No, we are not alone. We are not alone in our genealogy. We are not alone in wanting to pursue our Canadian genealogy. And we as Canadian genealogists, whether we're professional or we're hobbyists, are not alone. And I think it's fair to say that as Canadian genealogists, that we want more of a presence. We want more of a presence at conferences. We want more of a presence in social media, and getting together and doing things like this, I think, will allow us to do that in 2017. So with that, I am going to say thank you for joining us today, and look for things coming in your inbox in the next couple of days. And of course, look for things coming in your inbox on January 1st as we start our Starting Out and Starting Over program. So Chris, thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Ellen, glad you could join us while you're on your holidays. And Kelly, thank you for joining us from Alberta. I'm glad that you were able to join us today. And I want to thank all of you, our viewers who have joined us today, and those who have joined the Facebook group. I will put the link to the Facebook group in the mailing as well. So if you haven't joined the Facebook group yet, you will get the link to it and you can join in. And that will be an opportunity to discuss what we're going to be doing in 2017, our family history for 2017. You'll have a place to talk about it. And I usually check Facebook at least once or twice a day. So I'll be checking in on the Facebook group as well and making comments there. Okay, so do we want to do this again? Should we do another Google Hangout in the end of January? See how everybody's doing? Okay, so I think that's a yes. Once we pick a date, we'll get that posted as well. If you're interested in being a panelist with our Starting Out, Starting Over live Google Hangout, let me know. Let me know in the Facebook group, and we can make arrangements for that to happen. So with that, goodbye 2016, and I think some of us could say good riddance because it has been a very challenging year, and we welcome 2017 just around the corner, and we will see you then. So goodbye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.